But, you know, looking back, it's easy to say, what should you done? Let's think about it ahead of time. All right, when you're on a job, sometimes a wet rag is one of the best things in the world to put a fire out. Keep a wet rag handy if you're doing soldering or brazing. Water works great. You know, it doesn't hurt to have a little bucket of water or a water hose or something like that around. But there's times to use different things for fire and times not to. I want to talk a little bit about fire extinguishers. This is going to be, you're going to have to look at some of my writing. If I see this on a fire extinguisher, and normally that color of that triangle is going to be green, what's it tell me that that fire extinguisher is good for?
Twice alpha fires.
Okay, this would be one that you would use for common combustibles. Wood, paper. The idea of this particular extinguisher, or the theory behind this particular theory, extinguisher, is to quench the fire, cool the fire. Okay, a lot of times this would be even a water-based type extinguisher. You wouldn't want to use that on electrical, would you?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay, if you come and you see a fire extinguisher that has a V and a block, and most of the time this block is going to be red. Okay? I say most of the time. I understand that's the normal colors for them. Okay? Well, what's that good for? How about liquids and gases, grease fires? This type of extinguisher actually smothers the fire out. It's going to be anything that the only way to put it out is to take the oxygen away from it. Okay? There again, this is what these extinguishers are rated for. If you're using them on the wrong type of fire, you may make the fire worse. Another one is your C. Oops, I got the wrong kind of block here. The C should be a circle. And this is purple, if you will. I call it purple. I don't know what color it really is, but it looks purple to me. But this is an extinguisher for electrical fire. Okay? One important function that this fire extinguisher has to be, it cannot have anything that is conductive. Meaning, in fact, if you use that one with water on electrical fire, you're going to make the fire worse. Okay? The components in this particular fire extinguisher cannot conduct electricity. So that's the reason it's for electrical. Another one that we don't see too often, but I want to point it out, is one that has a D, and I don't know how good my artwork is here. Not well at all. That's supposed to be a star. It's supposed to be. Okay, y'all see where I'm really lacking. That's a star, by the way, in case you don't know. That's a star. That's yellow in color. The star is yellow. And this would be for metals. You say, what? Metals? Metals don't burn. Yes, they do. Are y'all familiar with magnesium? Okay. Magnesium, a lot of people think when they see aluminum, they think, or magnesium, they think it's aluminum. It's really not. It's magnesium. Magnesium, once it catches on fire, it creates its own oxygen as it burns. And it takes a special extinguisher to put it out. You can put water on it all day long, and chances are it's not going to ever go out or fire right back up again. So there is a extinguisher made for metals that burn. Okay? All right. Now, that got us past the fire prevention. I said there was one more area that I wanted to cover. And y'all are going to say, David, you have lost your mind. But being in the field for many, many years, I learned this pretty quick, almost the hard way. When you go on a job, people didn't call you out there because especially let's say that you're doing grocery store work, refrigeration, and they notice that their walk-in wasn't, let's say their walk-in freezer wasn't at the right temperature, that it was getting warm. Well, they didn't call you out there because, believe it or not, because the temperature was getting warm. They called you out there because they're fixing to lose a product. Okay? You know, it's about that money. They're fixing to lose money. They want you out there to fix their unit, but the biggest reason they want you out there is so that they don't lose that whole cooler full of ice cream, right? If that's what's in it. They don't want to see it go down the drain. It's money. So your job when you get out there, yes, it is to get that unit going again. But if you see that you cannot get that unit going before the product is going to be damaged, you need to let them know. You know, what's that mean? Does that mean that you know, an army's going to come in and move that out? Sometimes the best thing to do is keep the door closed. It's a funny thing, if I tell somebody that a cooler's not working, the first thing they're going to go to is open the door and look inside. Why? I don't know. It's just human nature. But if you leave it closed, you have a better chance. There's dials or thermometers, if you will, to tell you what the temperature inside is in most of them. But if you see that you're not going to be able to get it fixed in time, there needs to be a plan of action. And believe you me, if you see that that owner or that store manager is struggling to move it to another place, he or she will greatly appreciate if you drop what you're doing and help them move that product to save that product, because that's why you're there in the first place. Okay? Now, we don't think about household having things of value that may get burnt by heating and air conditioning, but it can happen. I had a particular call one time that when I got the call, they said they were burning up and it was in the middle of winter. When I got there, they wasn't kidding. A gas valve had got stuck on a particular furnace, and it was hot enough in the house that the candles had melted on the dining room table. The lady and her little girl were standing outside in about 20-degree weather and said, "We can't stand it in there." They woke up in the middle of the night. Now, needless to say, things inside the house can get damaged from overheat or even from high humidity or even low humidity. That's our job. When we get called, we're not just to look at the temperatures, we're to look at the whole environment. Okay? Now, I'm going to end that one today on general safety, but we're going to be doing another one in a little while over ladder safety. Thank you. Today we're going to go over a little bit about ladder safety. I'm definitely not going to cover everything that you need to know about ladders, but let's hit some of the highlights. Number one, what I have in my hand, or what I'm holding in my hand here, is not a ladder. I've seen more than one person attempt to climb or reach something out of a chair. Number one, that's a swivel. It's made to put your fanny in, not anything else. This is also not a ladder. Okay? It's a stool. Again, misuse of these things can get you hurt. Now, ladders come in different types of materials and have different uses. What we have here, we have a little roll around. What's it made out of? Metal. Would I use this to do a little electrical work? Absolutely not. I'm just asking for trouble. Here we have a small ladder, and I want you to notice that you should fully lock the ladder in place. You notice that one side does not have steps, the other side does. This is not to stand, you should not stand on this side. Okay? There's also a limitation on how high you should climb. You don't want to be on these two steps. This is the highest step that you should really go. Okay? If you overextend yourself on a ladder, there's a good chance you're going to get hurt. Okay? Another ladder, we have the 6 foot here. Does that mean that I can stand on this top step a bit? Absolutely not. Once again, is that safe to climb on? No way. You want to make sure that the ladder is fully locked. When climbing the ladder, you want to stay in the middle as much as possible. Face the ladder, okay? You want to, as I said before, you don't want to go from one ladder to another. As I said before, try to stay in the center of the ladder. You don't want to be rocking it. You don't want to try to walk the ladder. Y'all ever seen anybody do that? Okay. Notice what this ladder is made out of. Is it safe for electrical work? Yes. Okay. Ladders also have ratings, weight ratings. That weight rating includes both the user and any material or tools that may be supported by that ladder. And as you can see, I may be a little heavy for this thing, right? Don't agree. Don't agree. But you'll have the ratings both for what it can be used for and how much it can be. How many people should be on a ladder?
400.
One. Okay. Now, extension ladders, which we of course don't have in this particular room right now, but we're going to go out and take a look at extension ladders. Extension ladders should be set up so that whatever the height is, it should be a quarter away at the bottom. Now I'll show you a quick way to set that up. You can actually do it with your feet and your hands and have the approximate slope on the ladder by doing that. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. But the top of the extension ladder should extend 3 feet above whatever it's propped up against. Okay. Now, watch out for power lines. Okay. Even though these may be insulated, definitely we don't want to use aluminum ladders for electrical work. But they may be insulated. But there's some high tension lines out here that insulation would mean nothing to you. Watch what's overhead. Been more than one person killed because of that type of accident. Y'all ready to go out and take a look and try some of this?